Hey, I wanted to look at one of the lessons that we're going to be doing with the kids next week. It's this lesson, it's the first lesson in our module, and it's having them work with the tens and the ones. So basically, we're starting off with having the kids identify some of the patterns on a number board.
Of the number board,
so
right.
they can like start seeing how they're building up to a 10. And then in the opening, we also are letting them see how the kind of the correlation between the number, the position, and building it. Now, when I looked at the work that the students are going to be doing.
So this is from their student journal.
Yeah.
So we're starting here
In the opening.
Okay, I just
where they're actually using hands
Base 10 blocks.
and base 10 blocks, expander.
Yeah, in the number board. They're using lots of they're getting to see these numbers in lots of different
models.
ways. Yeah.
Okay.
So then whenever they get into the journal, it basically is them counting groups of 10 and then counting any leftovers to figure out how to record that.
Right.
And then how to write the number name.
Okay.
I looked at our tech and at our learning, our landscape of learning. And
So our standard, if we look,
here,
we hover over the title, it shows our standard is 2.2b.
and while I'm looking for that, if you'll see if you can kind of find where you think that would be on our landscape.
We're talking about place value in this area.
So when I'm looking at 22B, it says use standard, word, and expanded form to represent numbers up to 1200. So obviously, this lesson is not doing all of, that's not what we're going to be doing today. But we are going to be looking at the standard part, the word part, and in order for
And
them...
the expanded part, I mean, well, close to it, at least.
Just
naming
not in
the
that
number of
expanded
tens.
form, right? But being able to see that this number is made up of groups of 10 and leftover ones.
Leftovers, right.
Right.
Well, the place value kind of section is up here towards the top. And I guess we're not getting into a little bit of place determines value. I would definitely say the place value pattern is, I think, where we're kind of starting off with this unit. So this one says the big idea, place value patterns occur when making and adding on groups of 10.
And I think that that's going to be an important part of this lesson. Yes, this particular piece today is just dealing with them seeing how that happens with two-digit numbers. But we're obviously going to be working toward 1200.
Exactly.
So we really want them to generalize, just like it does here, groups of 10. Now, we don't. I don't think that we have to use this wording with them, but in the back of our minds, we need to keep thinking that groups of 10 isn't just groups of 10 ones.
Right.
But that could be groups of 10 tens, a group of 10 hundreds, or whatever.
And we have to just be mindful that that's where we're going.
Right. So we really want them to be able to generalize that in this
Once
lesson.
you continue to see that pattern, and I
Right.
think we might in here have to help make that connection for the students of continuously bringing that back. That every time we get to 10 ones, we may have a new group of 10.
So then the piece that we're working on today is that they can see that a number. The big idea is that a number is made of groups of 10 and leftover
And
ones.
some ones.
And they're doing that today. They're going to be showing that today through two-digit numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's our big idea.
Is this going down too?
Now it occurs to me that
Yeah, the whole.
whenever we're looking at this, I'm wondering
Yeah, Amy.
if we're going to have some kids that don't have that group of that unitizing piece and that are
Oh
going to
yeah,
be counting.
they're going to start counting. Some of them I could see starting to count by ones. They're going to maybe have to count every single finger. And so that would be a definite flag for me to say, okay, unitizing is an issue.
So then, really and truly, it would be super easy just to give them even just a long, and have them verify how many ones make it up,
Put 10 singles
and then
pieces
count
right
them.
next to it.
Is that worth 10? Okay, how much is this one worth?
Right.
Have them do it again. Okay, now how much is this one worth? Do it again.
Check for sure.
Until they finally are like, missing your nuts. I don't have
Right.
to do it again. I know
Let's
that that's
just
worth
count by
10.
tens.
Right.
Exactly. Well, and then the other thing I'm looking at here is we might have even students that start to count by fives. And
I thought about
might
that
just
too.
see 5, 5, 5, 5.
Which, when you're looking at the big idea is that numbers are decomposed into subsets. But we want to move them to that
Right.
group of 10.
They just need to understand that that's not the most efficient strategy. It works. It will get them to a total number that's correct.
Right.
However, then when they get over here,
That's what I'm
what's
going to be
gonna
interested
happen?
in. At first, I was thinking that, okay, well, I'll just stop them there if I see a kid doing that, and I'll like jump them right to. I'll kind of,
I'll take care of that.
but I'll bridge that 5 to 10 thing. But I think that it would be a good idea for us to hold off and see. What are they going to put there for tens?
are they going to put the number of fives there?
I
Are
just
they
wanna see
going to
that.
be able to combine? I don't. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do when they have to transfer over.
But in terms of, let's assume that they know that there's that there's a double the number of fives. If a
Right.
kid does that, then it seems like we could just very easily go, okay, so if you have 2 fives, what does this make one group of? If you have 2 fives, this makes one group
And even
of.
just circling it for them on the page, and then helping them to be able to just, if they can come to that own conclusion themselves of, oh, well, let me just count by tens. That's a group of 10, a group of 10, a group of 10,
Right.
and on and on.
Even with our own hands. So you have a 5, I have a 5, that's one group. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That would be a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a 5, but if I put it together, now I have one what?
Exactly. And keep modeling that the
Yeah.
whole way through.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are really the 2 things that I'm seeing are going to happen.
Yeah,
I promise you, I'm trying to get this one straight.
I agree. I don't see any other strategies that I can think of now.
Geometry.
Well, then I'm thinking if those are our big ideas,
The high schools don't have grade levels.
if that's kind of our big idea, what is it that we're going to be looking for them to do? Because, I mean, I don't want to just go, oh, they got all of these correct.
Right. Wham, bam, we're
Then we're
done.
done.
Yeah.
Might be a whole lot later today.
I'm thinking that
What all do you have to get together for tomorrow?
I would like to
Grab my hand.
have the kids actually build a number with base 10 blocks.
Yeah.
And give them like a pair of similar numbers.
Because this doesn't happen until Friday, Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I don't want this like hanging over
In the
either.
closing,
Because I'm ready.
and like a
That's why
reflection
I've been-
piece at the end, it
I've
talks
already got
about
my coffees done,
having
I've got everything
asking
done.
volunteers to build the numbers 30 and 13.
I really am.
So maybe instead of just one person building a number, that would be a perfect opportunity for them to partner up and turn and talk, so that at least we can kind of be jumping in on conversations of what that looks like. And then it asks them to talk about the difference between the two.
Right. I think one of the questions that are a question that I want them to be us to be asking them, and for them to be asking each other, is when we give them a number, for them to be able to talk about how many groups of 10 make up this number.
Right.
Do we need any ones to make up this number?
Yes.
And you know what, Casey, you just hit on something that I noticed even up in the opening, and that was several times in this lesson, it's just asking for us to ask for a volunteer, and it kind of makes me worry that out of our whole class, if we're just asking for volunteers, we're not going to
How are
get
we hitting everyone?
right. So even back up in the opening,
Those are
I
here,
think that
right?
every time that we're talking about what number will you show with the 2 10s,
And having, instead of just asking a volunteer,
have them turn and talk for those, but then listen really carefully to how do you know, because that's going to be, those things are going to be addressing the big idea, and that would be a great time for us to say who can repeat that,
Oh, yeah.
who can repeat.
because for any of those kids that don't know how they know or weren't sure, then at least they're continuing to kind of build that concrete understanding of
Well,
it now.
and it's such a big idea that even if you think you have it, you hearing it a couple more times isn't going to hurt.
Exactly.
Right? And
Okay, so where's
we
my
might even,
Oh, here, okay.
if we have some kids disagree, because they might say that a 3 in 13 and a 3 in 30 are the same because they
That's
look
true.
the same. So that would be an opportunity for us to do who agrees with this and listen and really help them focus on the attributes of, well, this 3 is worth that, this 3 is worth
Right.
or
Oh,
represents.
this is so much better. You
Okay.
just might have to tell me who the leader is, like,
I think we have a good plan in place for how this lesson's going to look.
All right. Great.
And